Started. All right, welcome everyone. We are so excited. Jordan and I have been sending voice messages for the last several days, and then all night we're both cooking dinner, sending voice messages for this call. So buckle up. We're not even sure how long it's going to be, but we're just going to give you the goods because we're so passionate about this because both of us have had stories in the past. Jordan's been with Plexus for 9 years. I've been here for 12 years and just had the most incredible, rewarding experiences in our days and lives now because we had to harness courage and take steps of courage into confidence. And I know both of us have had women and mentors, and I used to get on every single Zoom call I could multiple times a week and go to every event trying to learn and learn and learn. And we want to just pour that back into you tonight for the rest of this year to set you guys up with our own stories of this and our own how-tos. So we're going to share our stories that might make you even sweat a little bit, our stories of the confidence and the courage that we had to have in really sticky, uncomfortable moments to normalize that. Maybe you're listening tonight and you're not where you want to be. Maybe you thought you'd be going into 2025 with higher points or a higher rank or just a different version of you, and last year didn't go the way you wanted. Or you're brand new and you're kind of nervous and unsure, or there's a big rank ahead and you haven't given it that all yet, right? We want to share with you our experiences of being in those spots and how we moved through them. So, Jordan, before you share yours, because I'm going to ask you to share some of yours first, I also want to give you guys the why and the vision of why going through this uncomfortable was worth it, right? Because I told Jordan, I was like, man, we're about to tell him like some really hard stuff we personally had to do. Let's remind them why it was so worth it for us to do that uncomfortable stuff. So, Jordan, what would you tell your beginning self, the Jordan that like just joined, that was nervous, unsure? What would you tell her life looks like now because she went through the uncomfortable?
Yeah, first off, if my team, if y'all have never met Amber, like I love her. I love y'all. I just love y'all know, like you can just tell right off the bat, like she's just such a good relationship person. Like she's just so good at it. And so I actually love the juxtaposition of us, like our natural, just us. Okay, so what would I tell young Jordan? Y'all, I would tell her that the things that are driving her are not dumb. And let me explain this. So I remember seeing things like from Jessica Heffley, and it wasn't even the trip. It wasn't even the bougie party. It was the fact that she was sitting in first class and they got like free food on the plane. And I remember seeing that thinking like, I want that. Like I have a really tall husband. I hate traveling when I'm hungry. I hate having to stress on whether or not the layover is gonna be long enough so I can get the food and fill up the water and get on the plane. And I saw them like on in first class. I was like, man, I want to do that. And so I think what I would tell young Jordan is the things that are driving you that might seem silly, the little thing that you might think, oh my gosh, that's got to be selfish, right? Or the little thing that you're like, man, that just seems so cool. I want to do that. I would tell her that let those drive you. It's okay if your why doesn't drive you to tears like so and so told you that it had to, or it's okay if your why isn't building hospitals in a third world country. Like it's okay. It's okay. Whatever drives you, that's okay. Just it's okay. So that's what I would tell myself. Because for a long time, I remember hearing people's whys and I was like, man, mine really isn't like that. But it's good enough, whatever yours is. So that's what I would say. What about you?
Okay. Well, opposite here. It started out like that. Y'all, I started Plexus, if you don't know my story, when I was 23 years old. Okay. Nervous, shy, the most awkward person. I could even show you some photos. Just really awkward and nervous. But I at first just wanted fun money. I just wanted to go to Target and put whatever I wanted in the cart. And we didn't even have the Joanna Gaines aisle back then. Like, man, if we had had that, right? And just put whatever I wanted in the cart and check out and not feel any guilt. My husband worked 6, 7 days a week. He was 21. He's younger than me. He was slaving away pouring concrete. I didn't want to feel any guilt. I just wanted to be able to spend money, right? And I think now, this day and age, a lot of us can feel that, like without having to check the bank account, without having it be in the extras, just spend money. That was a goal in the beginning. And then it became more and more as I heard people's stories. And so now, when you hear what we're going to say about going through the uncomfortable, this is our life now, and this is why it's worth it. I can't tell a Tuesday from a Saturday. I can't tell whether it's Wednesday or what day it's going to be because my husband never walks out of the door. We get to drink coffee on the couch every morning and connect and have that time together. He works on our property with the kids, and we just get to live in that space of complete rest because there is abundance of time and money. And I didn't realize that that was possible. So if that's you on this call, that abundance is possible. So that's where we are now. But Jordan, back to you. What are some of those uncomfortable things that you had to go through and utilize courage?
Y'all, I was thinking about these and I was literally like, oh my gosh, do I actually want to talk about these? Because here's something I found. Whenever you go research courage, it actually that nothing you will find says courage means you have a perfect plan. Courage means you're fully equipped. No, courage actually takes lots of vulnerability. Like perfection and courage, I think are actually opposites. And so I just want to take you through some times that maybe felt a little hard that took a little courage, okay? And some of you guys are brand new. Some of you guys have been here for a long time. And so hopefully you'll find one of these and be like, okay, I can relate to that, whether it's mine or Amber's or both. So I at one point had to restart. I was brand new. I had started my products, I had started posting, and I did not make $1 million within my first month. And I was like, I'm not doing this. I am not having failed at network marketing on my resume. I'm out. So I literally stopped posting for a year, you guys. And at that point, when I came back and I was like, okay, I think I really want to do it this time. Anybody here ever had to restart? It feels uncomfortable. It feels hard. It feels I'm going to be judged, right? And I'm going to talk about this later. But I had to just stay focused and say, why am I here? Why do I want to restart? And how can I do this better the second time? And so that was one of the very first ones. I had to have courage to restart, and that's okay. Some of you guys are getting restarted in the new year. That's okay. Restart better and stronger and commit. Okay. So that was one. Another one, is there anybody here? I think there's a lot of people you either resonate with you're really, really good at relationships or you're really, really good at production. Most people are not really good at both, right? You lean one way or the other. I'm curious, are you guys a relationship that comes very natural to you, or does production come very natural to you? Which one are you? Put it in the chat. Production comes very natural to me. Relationships feel hard. I feel way more vulnerable doing that. So I had to realize that I was going to look like a fool whenever I started. I had to realize that I was going to look new at something. And that took a lot of courage for me because I do not like to look dumb. I don't like to look new at something. I stopped trying new sports when I was in like elementary school because I don't want to try a new sport. I'm good at volleyball. I'm going to stick with that one, right? And so I really had to realize that it was okay to look new. It took a lot of courage for me to look new, to be seen as somebody who didn't have all the answers. And I had to learn actually that not having all the answers was actually way more relatable than somebody who has it all together all the time. And that felt hard for me. But now I'm much better. Thank goodness. But lots of prayer and pride checks and all the things. But so that was really difficult for me. Also, some of y'all may think this is really dumb, but I'm going to share it anyway. Getting my Lexus actually took a lot of courage. And let me tell you why. I went into that Lexus dealership and immediately felt like an imposter. I saw men and women with $1,000 outfits and these people who were very prim and proper sitting in their little Lexus chair waiting on their car. And I had Cheerios falling out of my car doors. I had kids with me. I had a stroller. And I was like, I don't fit in here. And I walked into that Lexus dealership and immediately like felt like I was going to throw up. We actually looked at cars and then we left because I was like, Zach, I don't think I can do this. I don't, what if I don't re-rank? Like all, and then I was just like spiraling. And so then Zach said, hey, Jordan, there has never, ever been something that you have set your mind to that you did not finish. You're going to be fine. We're going back to the Lexus dealership. I was like, okay. So we went back to the Lexus dealership. I drove away in my very first Lexus, bawled the whole way home in just pure gratitude. And that took a lot of courage for me because I don't know, it just felt very hard. And then when I finally got it, it was like a moment of like, okay, maybe I am an emerald. Maybe I can do this, you know? And so anyway, that one was really hard for me. Also, I'm gonna say one more, and then Amber, I want to hear yours, and then if we have some more time, maybe I can share another one. But have any of y'all ever messed up as a leader? You messed something up, you didn't turn something in on time. Maybe a teammate was asking you a question, you didn't get back to them on time. Maybe you were running an IPA challenge and you forgot a day. Anybody here ever messed up? So it takes courage to admit that you were wrong or that you messed up or that you forgot. And so now don't make a habit of that because that's not great leadership, but we're human. We are all need grace. And you, no matter the size of your team, Amber Miller, whoever else, we all need grace. And so realizing that one, I needed grace, and two, admitting when I messed up, that also took a lot of courage. And I think I earned more people's respect when I was able to admit it. So anyway, those are some of mine.
I love it. I love that you brought up the Lexus too, because oh my gosh, same. That was so
Ugh, I like really wanted to vomit.
my little red Honda that my grandparents have given me died on the interstate on the way to get a Lexus, like on the side of the interstate. And I just remember like laughing and thanking God, like he knew the timing of that, right? But love that, Jordan. Okay, you know what I noticed, and I wrote down in my notes that you kept saying first that perfectionism and courage are opposites. Write that down on your notes. They are opposite. So if you ever find yourself saying, well, I just don't know how, I don't know how to do it right, I'm just not sure, that is a trigger to remember, okay, that means I get to employ courage because I don't know all the exact hows. I'm going to do it anyways because Jordan said they're opposite and I want to act in courage because courage comes before confidence, right? And that's what everybody wants. I have women all the time message me, I wish I was more confident. I wish I had confidence. I just don't have confidence. That's why I can't succeed, right? How do you get confidence? And what I always want to say, and I do over and over again, is confidence has to be earned. Confidence is earned. And at any time, right now after this call, you can choose to go earn confidence. Okay. Because it is just an action, it's taking an action that you, no, thanks, babe, that you want to take. Right. So courage first to act, and then confidence starts to kick in. Um, so I wrote down this quote too, and I want to say how you handle this. This is,
You.
let me mute right there. And I made you a co-host too, Jordan, if you see anyone come in. How you handle courage or fear, because that's the opposite choice. If you know you want to do something, you want to send that message, you want to take that action, and you don't, you are choosing fear because there's only two options there. How you handle this, how you handle fear, determines the kind of life you will live, right? That is the weight of this that we're talking about, determines the kind of life you will live. My courage that I had to take was first, probably the number one was going slower than everybody else and still choosing to go. I had a team. I was very blessed to have my mom, Lori Bradford. She's an incredible diamond sapphire under me, my level one. I'm always like, thank you, Lord. That's the way it worked out. But y'all, she skyrocketed to diamond in 11 months. She went diamond in 11 months. Okay. And I was over here just barely trying to survive and be a gold. Okay. I had this incredible downline in Hawaii, and I was over here just trying to hold on to every point. Now, the amount of shame And the emotion of embarrassment that comes with that is so huge, right? So facing that and choosing to keep going was where courage or fear, I had two options. And I actually went to my mom and said, I'm going to quit. I will take the products forever, but I couldn't handle the feeling of not being where they were or as good and having the same points. That was why I was going to quit. So I had this crossroads, and I've had it multiple times, not just that time. I'm guessing you have had your own crossroads, right? And if you're not at one now, you might be at one in a couple months, or sometime in your journey. That fear or courage, it was going to determine how our life was going to be. And I'm very grateful that my mom said, wash your mouth out with soap and get to it, right? Like she didn't let me sit in that spot, and that's what we want to do tonight. So if you thought that, I'm going to tell you the same thing. She literally would say, "Wash your mouth out with soap and don't say that again." Because you have the ability to make a different choice, okay? Courage or fear. So that was my huge courage moment. And I'm going to pull up a picture because I found this in my Facebook, and you guys, I got to show you. This was my little Amber who was pregnant, setting up. Look at how terribly ugly our product packages were in the day.
Look
I'm
how
like,
cute she is, though.
well, I just want you guys to see. I bawled tears before I went into this little restaurant. I think it was like an Applebee's, and set up my little stand and did a little event right there with like maybe four people that were just there to be nice and were friends of friends, right? And I was crying in the car, and I called my mom and was like, I can't do it. And she was like, Amber, you're making it about you. You're thinking about yourself instead of the others who need what you have. Stop thinking about yourself, think of others. So that when we're talking about how do we tap into courage, it's because we have a bigger why than our current self, right? We have a bigger why and reason to face those emotions. And it is all just about facing emotions. That's it. We're not trying to, I mean, thank the Lord, we're not having to go into battle, right? We're just literally using two thumbs and facing emotion. We make it such a big thing, but that's all we're needing to do when we use courage. So that's my main story. Okay, Jordan, courage into confidence. So we've told them why, we've told them the importance. Can we tell them now? We want to give you guys some actionable steps of how you can go start practicing courage and growing confidence. What do you have?
Well, I it's so funny because immediately she was like, "How about you talk about the actions? I'll talk about the mindset." I was like, "Perfect, I'm in." So Haley Jenkins, are you on here? I think you are. So
Yes,
Haley, where are you? There you are. Okay,
I'm here.
so Haley, this uh, earlier in September, we were in Hawaii, and what did we do, Haley Jenkins?
We jumped off the cliff.
We jumped off a cliff, and Haley, I don't know if you knew this going into it, so but I think she does now. Jumping, like not jumping off cliffs, heights is actually something I'm terrified of. Like public speaking and heights, those are like, and singing in public, any lots of things in public. But it is terrifying to me. When I drive over an overpass, I feel like I'm gonna vomit. Like I don't look. Yeah, and so it's not great. And so Haley, we were all sitting there, and my husband goes and jumps off a cliff, and then they're like, "Yo, let's go do it." I'm like, I cannot look like a weenie in front of my friends. Like I have got to go jump off this cliff with them. And so we decided we were going to go jump off a cliff. And I have some correlations here to our business, so stick with me. But some things that got me that I noticed through my terrifying cliff jumping experience, and how it correlates to our business. So the first thing that I had to do was I had to seek proof that I could actually do this. I had to seek proof that I wasn't gonna die. I was I was studying those people that were on top of that cliff that were jumping off and not being impaled by rocks. Like and I couldn't even let my mind go there, okay? And one of those people was Haley Jenkins. I watched her go first. She scaled this mountain, jumped off, and was like, okay, if Haley can do this, I can do this. Like I literally played that over and over. I don't even think you knew that, but like you gave me so much courage just because you went and did it. Um, And so, are you guys seeking proof that the thing you want to do in your business can be done? Or are you focusing on the people that are not doing it? Are you focusing on the wrong things? Y'all, there is proof all over. If you are telling yourself people aren't ranking up on my team, I can't rebuild, then you're not going to have people ranking up on your team and you're not going to rebuild. Or you could go look at the people we've already had more, right? We had I don't even know the number. I think it's like somewhere times like 50 times more or so. It was wild crazy the amount of rank ups, jewel rank ups we had in 24 versus 2023. Like, you want proof that hitting emerald this year is possible? Go look at the numbers. The numbers do not lie. And so you have got to go seek proof that the thing you want to do is possible. Some of you guys are telling yourself, I can't really do this because I don't have an upline. That's bull. I'm sorry. It is. A lot of you, I love my upline. She's a great human. Most of you do not know her, and that is okay. You can succeed. So whatever lie you're telling yourself, you got to go seek proof that the thing that you want to do is possible and stop looking at the things that are impossible. Okay. The other thing is, I had to admit that I was afraid. Someone was videoing this jump cliff jumping experience. And y'all, I think I stood up on top of that. It felt like 5 minutes. I don't think it was actually 5 minutes, but it felt like 5 minutes. I was standing on top of the cliff trying to get my legs to jump. And Haley Ross, she's actually Haley Jenkins' friend, was beside me, and I kept going, dude, I am so scared. I am so scared. And if we keep pretending that we're not nervous, if we keep pretending that everything is all right, and y'all, we're pretending, and then we feel fake, and then we feel inauthentic, and then it feels off. And so it's okay if you're feeling scared. Maybe you're about to do your first live video and you are visibly shaking. It's okay. Do it anyway. Maybe you're about to host your first sip and see at Applebee's. It's okay if you cry in your car. Suck it up and then go do it. Okay. So it's okay to feel like you're not an expert and you're not perfect, because you're not. And it's okay. You can admit that you're scared. Um, the other thing is, I had to kind of shift my expectations a little bit. I saw a lot of people doing backflips off this cliff. Your girl didn't even consider a backflip. I was just trying to jump. I was just trying to survive the actual jump. Some of you guys are looking at Lori Bradford and you're like, she made it in 11 months. I guess I suck. I guess I'm just not made for this. It's been 5 years. Well, you get to decide, okay? Because if you can just shift your expectations a little bit and reset the compass a little bit and just make sure that whatever you're focusing on is the right focus, and just shift the timeline just a little bit. You got to shift the expectation. Y'all, I hit that water and I will spare you the details, but places were affected. It hurt so bad. Okay. And that's okay. I wasn't looking for perfect. I was just looking to get my first jump in. Go get your first live in. Go get your first sip and see in. Maybe you haven't set goals. Maybe go ahead and just do it. Doesn't have to be perfect. Set it down. Let's go. If you miss it, we'll try again. Let's go. Okay. Um, the other thing was listening to those that are in the arena with you. If you have never seen the quote from Theodore Roosevelt that talks about being in the arena, basically what it talks about, okay, Amber's saying yes, a lot of people I think have read it, but basically you have people that are trying to do the same thing you are. Have y'all ever heard the quote? It's like, you're never going to be judged by someone who's doing more than you are. It's like when you see the person out running and they're like dying. It's obviously day one. Somebody that is working out is not going to look at them and be like, oh my gosh, look how bad they are. No, for somebody that works out and knows the grind and knows how hard it is going to be like, dude, you got this. Keep going. So who's in the arena with you? I had Haley Jenkins in the water looking up at me going, Jordan, you gave birth to babies. You can do this. Jordan, you can do it. And she was yelling, and she's the only thing I could hear. Don't tell my husband. I think he thinks that he's the reason I jumped, but it was actually Haley Jenkins. And she was just cheering me on, and I needed it. Who's cheering you on? Do you have a power partner? Somebody that you've linked arms with as a sideline or on somebody else's team that has the same mindset, same goals as you? Is it an upline who's just telling you, hey, I'm sorry you're having a bad day. but you can do this. Who is in your corner? You got to have somebody in your corner. You've got to have somebody that's in the arena with you. Joe Schmo, that is your bestie, that doesn't have the same goals and dreams and drive and work ethic, is not the person in the arena with you. Who's your Haley Jenkins? Okay. All right. The other thing is you need to educate your little self a little bit to have courage. If you go in blindly, if I would have just boop, popped on the top of this rock and then somebody told me to jump, I would have wanted to smack him in the face. But I had the opportunity to watch people over and over how they climbed, where they were putting their feet so I could get to the top. I had the opportunity to watch them jump and where they were jumping. You guys, some of you guys don't have courage to go send the reach outs for the business because you've never seen one. There are ample resources for you to go look at how people send these messages or how to lead with the business in your messages or how to make a post about money that's not slimy. Whatever you need, you need courage in, go learn about it and then go do it. Don't get stuck in analysis paralysis. Then go implement, go try it. It's not going to look pretty, the first one or the second one, maybe the fifth one, but you're going to get better. Okay, so go educate yourself a little bit on the thing you need courage in. And then the last one, um, oh my gosh, I can't even read my writing. Oh, um, okay, the last one was I had to get focused on me and the task at hand. I could have sat up there and compared myself and said, well, he did it better. He went faster, he went higher. So this one maybe doesn't even count because I didn't go to the very top. But I had to get focused on me, where I was jumping, why I was doing it, how I was going to feel once I did it. And I had to focus on me. I could have focused on the person out there that was filming me and how I looked to them and how I was coming across on camera. But y'all, I didn't have space for that. And y'all don't have space for that. You cannot always be thinking, well, I don't know if I can go live on my personal page, but maybe I could do it on like a private page just because you're scared that your ex cousin's wife's dog's mom is going to see it. Like you can't always be taking these actions out of fear. Okay, you got to get focused on where you're going, where you're jumping, the task at hand, your journey, and stop looking at everyone else's. And you got to stay focused. So that is mine. Amber, I know you were going to talk a little bit more about mindset of all that, right?
Yes. Okay. I will wrap this up because that was just so clear and perfect. And I'm really glad I wasn't there and I didn't have to jump.
Next time I'll find you.
Now I know where not to be. All right. So you guys, the mindset side. When you are going to take an action of courage and confidence, if you're struggling to take that step consistently, I want to ask you this. Are you pulling from past experiences or from possibility? Too many of us, most of us, take our past experience, last year, last month, the last 5 years, whatever it is, and throw that on the projector screen. That is what we think about. That is what we look at. That is what we choose to get our truth from. Is that you or has that been you? If so, whatever you are looking at or thinking about, that is what you bring about, right? If you're wondering why you keep getting the same repeated results, it is because you keep thinking the same thing. You cannot act outside of your thoughts. If Jordan had just been focusing on the what ifs of jumping off that cliff and not on her friends, not on the dopamine of having done it, not on her husband telling Haley telling her if she could, and just on the what ifs, she never would have jumped. You can't act different than your thoughts. So where are your thoughts? What are your expectations based in the past or possibility? Your expectations, your expectancy is what you will create. So do you see yourself doing the daily habits? Do you see yourself? I actually, more so than a vision board, I love a vision board. And every single year I'm writing it out. I changed it now. It's every quarter. Every quarter I am writing it out and I am restructuring it because that is my guide right? If I really want to make progress, I am set on that thing. But even more so than that, I want you to have a strong mental picture of you doing the actions that you are committing to doing. I can visualize myself standing at my desk doing the work. I can see myself smiling, sending the messages, being on the Zoom calls, walking across stage, whatever it is, whatever you want to accomplish, see yourself doing it. Close your eyes, picture that. And have that expectation of the results you want to have. Spend time there, and your actions will start changing, right? But it's a choice, and that is literally the best choice you can make, is to think about more what you are thinking about, right? That's what I want to call you to with this, with having confidence. And the second thing, and I'll end with this, is go all in. And what I mean by that is the more all in you are, the less chances that you'll act out of fear, right? Because you have decided on a path that you're going. There's an example of the jet that goes down the runway, right? And there's a moment, there's a name for it. If you know, put it in the comments. There's a moment for the minute that jet gets to where it's going so fast that it is now more unsafe for it to stop than for it to go in the air, right? Up until that moment, it could stop, and it doesn't need to go all the way. But in that moment, it has now become unsafe and impossible for it to stop, and it must go up. I think most of the problems in my past, when I wasn't going the way I wanted, it's because I was just putting around the runway. I wasn't really strongly going in one direction. I was half in, half out, giving a small percentage of what I could give, and then judging and saying, well, see, I can't do it. When, in all honesty, I wasn't really doing what I was capable of doing. So don't judge yourself off the past if you were not all in 100% in the ring, because you weren't even showing up as you can, right? And the past was also training ground for how you can show up today. So I want to really encourage you. All in doesn't look like 8 hours a day. It doesn't look like burning midnight oil. That's not what it looks like. It is a calm consistency, from a place of excited expectancy, not urgency or fear, right? I know, Lord willing, that I will be with Plexus when I am a grandma. I know that I most likely will be a 10-star, 15-star, maybe even a 20-star diamond, because I plan to be here for decades upon decades upon decades. So I am not fearful or scared in my actions. I'm consistent and determined and excited. So I want to, let's go, Jordan. I want to encourage you to embrace that emotion, because you are so clear on where you're going and you know you're all in, and then create boundaries to make that happen. That's my last tip for you. How can you set yourself up? Because an athlete that goes to run a race, a marathon, that is going for a world championship, they create structure in their life so that they can train for that moment, right? So what are you doing? Are you treating this as something that that you are all in with? And that means you've decided the times that you're going to work, the work you're going to do, the messages you're going to send, how many posts you're going to make. And when that happens, what I've seen happen in the past and I've done is I said, I'm going to send 5 messages a day, start 5 great conversations. And then I'll wait till 10 p.m. at night and I'm exhausted and tired. Okay, now let me do that thing I was going to be consistent in. No, friend, put that in the beginning. Put that thing that you are all in on, that you have chosen, at the beginning of your day, so that there is no, you're setting yourself up for success, right? Your habits are setting yourself up for success. So that's what I want to encourage you with, and that's my action to you. But Jordan, what other actions can we give them so we can let them get on with this tonight?
Yeah, I was actually I'm gonna ask you a question, and I'll share mine first, but we did not plan this.
Mhm.
Sorry, not sorry. But you mentioned something, and it made me think. So I want to know, Amber, was there something along your journey that you didn't know you were resisting it or avoiding it, but once it unlocked, it was like a shift just like happened. I will share mine, and if you can think of one, but you probably already know. So, um, I remember for a while I was like rolling. I could sign people up. I could even help somebody get silver, but I was not leading people. I did not I wasn't reading about leadership. I wasn't learning about leadership. I thought everyone was motivated the same way I was. I thought I could show them the income chart and they would just be like, "Oh, okay, I'm in." But that is not how other people are motivated. That's not how they see things. That and I had to it was actually very humbling. It actually helped me a lot in my marriage because my husband is not like that either. And so I went to people like Taylor and I was like, "Hey, I think that we have a different personality type. What motivates you? Like teach me how to coach you. Like I don't know." And that was that first off, that took courage to admit I don't know. And two, it was actually really cool to learn other people. And so my coaching call started looking a little different person to person. It wasn't this like perfect structured little sheet anymore because Taylor needs something different than April, than Kristen, right? So that was a big shift for me. I actually had to learn how to lead people. I had to learn how to motivate people, not motivate, but I learned that they were motivated differently. And I had to learn how to get in there with them, and it looked different for everybody.
I love that. I love that. Mine was social media. I said for a solid year that I can never have a customer come from social media. And you guys, now I have almost 100,000 followers on Instagram, and I used to have like 200, and it was all my friends and probably some random weirdos, right? And that is my customer base and where I have my entire new team. I went Emerald this year on a reentry leg, and every single person on that team, and most of them are on this call tonight, was from Instagram. And I said for a year, I cannot get one new VIP on social media. I don't know how to post. I don't know how to do this. And it was my mom, our mothers, right? Always with the wisdom. And she said, well, one day she's like, you've been saying that for a year. So of course you're not going to be able to because you keep saying it. And I was like, ah, like, fine, and I went on a mission to learn this thing. And for me, I live in the middle of nowhere. So I actually don't leave my house more than like twice a month, basically. So I had to find a new way if I wanted to keep growing. And social media was that new way. So I went on a mission and spent months and months and months to learn this thing, changed my thoughts, changed my expectancy, changed my action, and then now look at, once again, we kind of come back to the beginning. Perfect way to round it out. Fear or courage is going to determine what you get in life. So if I had stayed in that, I just can't. It's too hard to figure out, right? Or stayed in the good enough. I always tell my team, good enough will keep you from great. It's good enough. I was already diamond. It was good enough, right? I would not have been able to grow another leg. I wouldn't have all these incredible women to work with right now and their lives changing and the lives that they will change if it had stayed in that spot. So I want to just let's help encourage you guys with that. What is your shift moment, like Jordan said? What is that fear or courage? How will that look? What boundaries and setups can you put in place for yourself so that you can win well, right? And will you have the attitude of expectancy and figure it outable, right? But yeah, Jordan, I'll let you end this call out, friend.
Well, I will just I have this. This is what the first thing I wrote down whenever we started planning this call. So I'll leave y'all with this. Y'all, and it's just a reminder, having courage has nothing to do with perfection. It's doing something and showing up knowing you cannot control the outcome. You have a lot that you can control, but
Mhm.
there's a lot you can't. So go do what you can with expectancy
Mhm.
and leave the rest up to God because y'all, you cannot carry that. And so I'm excited to see y'all go do some courageous things. I would encourage y'all to go make a list. What are
Yeah.
some shifts that you need to make? What are things you're resisting? What are the things you need to go do in courage? I've already decided I'm going to do a sip and see this quarter. Haven't done one in a long time. I'm going to do it because I need to go do some courageous things. I need to go do some scary things. So we're going to
And
do
go,
scary things this year. And I'm excited. Amber,
and go
thank you for collabing on this. This was so fun.
I have loved it. This has been great. Go put that scary thing in your chat or send it to your accountability partner or your sponsor and ask them to hold you accountable to doing that this quarter, right? Thank you, Jordan, so much. Thank you, everyone, for being on here. I am so grateful for everybody. And we just wish you the best 2025. And we'll see most of you on the cruise, and then everyone at convention, right? All
Yep.
right. Bye, friends.
Bye.